Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Triple R Ryan's Real Reactions, rocking the cat shirt today here on a lovely November day. And I am jumping right back into the Gypsy Rose Blanchard saga. You guys had a lot to say about my first video. You were saying there's a lot that has changed since the video that was uploaded that I reacted to many, many years ago. So today I am reacting to Becca, a channel that you guys have really wanted me to react to, BeccaScoops. The title is Cops Spill Hot Tea about Gypsy Rose Blanchard Part 1. Let's see if this starts to sway my opinion on Miss Gypsy Rose. Thank you for being here. Drink some water.
When Gypsy Rose Blanchard was released from prison on December 28, 2023, she was acclaimed as the celebrity of the moment. Netizens on TikTok threw her release parties and hailed Blanchard a survivor.
Yeah, that's exactly what I remember. I remember not knowing too much, but saying, oh, okay, people really are happy she's out. People were celebrating it, cheering for her. You know, I was like, oh, okay, cool, you know.
Rose wasted no time as she embarked.
But once again, a lot of you in the comments were saying, It's a little bit mixed. I'd say it was 70-30, 70% not in support of Gypsy Rose being out, 30% being supportive of her being out. Once again, there really is no right or wrong answer. It's the court of public opinion.
Embarked on a glitzy media tour along with her new husband, Ryan Anderson.
Same name, no relation.
That's when the tide started to turn. Others took to social media and blasted Blanchard as a master manipulator after the celebrated convict claimed in one interview that she doesn't identify as a schmurderer. We were told Gypsy was an abused little girl who grew up and asked her internet boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, to unalive her mother. Gypsy took a plea deal and served 8.5 years in prison.
Yeah, I will say the video I watched, if you didn't see it, was the video by Bailey Sarian from like 6 years ago. And it did make Gypsy look like, you know, pretty much completely innocent, manipulated, and warped.
Well, that didn't sit well with law enforcement personnel we contacted, who granted us some insider info about the original investigation and other details never revealed.
Victimology.
Okay, good morning. I want to specify at the beginning of this press conference that this is an ongoing investigation. And I want to start off with saying things are not always as they appear.
To understand a crime, detectives investigate the victim, in this case, Deedee Blanchard. We learned Deedee had a long track record of being a con woman who had quite a colorful criminal past. In HBO's 2017 documentary, several relatives made claims about Deedee's bad track record of misdeeds, which
a lot of people did make it seem like Deedee almost had it coming, if you will.
Included allegedly writing bad checks, committing credit card fraud, and engaging in petty thefts. They also claimed, quite alarmingly, that Deedee may have helped do away with her own mother, Emma Petrie,
poisoned
through
her.
Slow starvation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then there was Deedee's stepmother, Laura, who also claimed that Deedee once tried to do away with her by putting the weed killer Roundup in her food. Laura ultimately survived, but was bedridden for 9 months following the alleged murder attempt. However, Deedee's most infamous role would be using her daughter, Gypsy Rose, in a medical con that lasted many, many years. By now, most people have heard that Deedee was a con woman who allegedly had a condition called Munchausen by proxy. She was making Gypsy fake illnesses and seek medical procedures she did not need. However,
I mean, the fact that she claimed she had leukemia, and unless she had it, but I feel like it seems like she didn't, along with ALS or was it MS? It's like, man, that's some serious claims.
However, we were pretty shocked to learn that before Munchausen by proxy, also called factitious disorder imposed by another, became the narrative in this case, A few psychologists weren't sure that that fit Deedee to a T. So we had to ask, where did the Munchausen by proxy diagnosis come from in the first place? Only 48 hours after Gypsy's arrest, before any criminal investigation had happened, the Springfield News Leader published an article that claimed this diagnosis of Munchausen by proxy came from, quote, amateur sleuths on the internet, end quote. The article read, quote, it was posted everywhere by people reading the stories and making judgments about what was happening.
I will say, as a society in the last 10 or so years, a lot of people, and you know, I think everybody's guilty of this in some way, where a lot of us are guilty of being too judgmental too quick, or jumping on one side too quick, or not hearing all the facts, you know, and just wanting an answer right away and making our claim of like, yep, you know, we are as a society, and I'm not going to lump everybody in, but a lot of people are very quick to judge.
End quote. Then there's Dr. Ann Roast, who is the assistant head of psychology at Missouri State University. She said, as you might expect, such a diagnosis isn't so easy. She added, for one, the victim, usually a child, isn't aware of the deception. It's unclear, Roast claimed, how much Gypsy Blanchard knew about her condition, but certainly she knew she could walk. Dr. Roast said there's a similar but different disorder in which people fake medical issues for financial gain. That's called malingering.
You know what you've got there, my malingering Hector?
I've seen that before, where people try to get disability or, you know, maybe government aid, maybe claiming something that they don't actually have.
No, sir.
Or in this case, it would be malingering by proxy. Roast said, I don't have all the details of this case, but certainly it appears they were benefiting financially. You might be wondering, why is this so important? Why do we need to know, or why did law enforcement who are investigating this case need to know if Deedee Blanchard was truly a mom who displayed Munchausen by proxy? Well, it goes to motive. If Deedee was just a master con woman who docked her shop, reported fake illnesses, and made Gypsy sit in a wheelchair for financial gain, then Gypsy wouldn't necessarily have been fearing for her life. With what we learned about Deedee's history, her criminal past, a fraud for financial gain, we can see where this diagnosis might not fit according to the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. One of the 4 criteria for Munchausen by proxy states the deceptive behavior persists even in the absence of external incentives or rewards.
A lot of big words in there.
Well, that made us pause. In other words, would Deedee have engaged in this behavior, faking Gypsy's illnesses, if she had no financial incentives? That aspect of the diagnosis made
And Gypsy really does have a high-pitched voice. It's like a mouse.
us question if Deedee truly was actually making Gypsy very ill, or was she running a very abusive con that at times had Gypsy getting certain treatments and procedures. Most cases of Munchausen by proxy.
North Texas mom pleads guilty to poisoning 4-year-old with Benadryl to fake seizures. Good Lord. Seizures, right? I said that right. That's ridiculous.
That have made headlines show a caretaker, usually a mother, making the child very ill, mostly by some form of poison. Lacey Spears was convicted of first-degree murder of her son after it was found she was poisoning him with high amounts of salt. Then there's Candida Flutie, another mother, who was injecting her son with fecal matter and was sentenced to prison.
What? She was putting poop into his IV? Oh my gosh. How do you even think of that? That's diabolical.
Also, Hope Ybarra poisoned her daughter with stolen pathogens that sent the child into anaphylactic shock.
That's so sad.
These are just a few famous cases. An extensive evaluation by the Children's Hospital's feeding team, and that is why she had her G-tube JPEG feeding tube placed at that time. We could not verify that Gypsy had multiple fraudulent surgeries. She had surgeries to her eyes, which she needed according to her diagnosis of amblyopia, that's a lazy eye, that she admitted to having in one documentary. According to the records, she had many ear infections as a child and had ear tubes placed for drainage. However, we must stress that we did find 2 to 4 procedures that were not backed up by a sound medical diagnosis, but not over 30 surgeries, as some reports have claimed. Many are contending, including law enforcement.
Yeah, that's what I think I read in the video, that she had over 30 procedures done.
Sources close to the investigation that we spoke to is that this case was so complex and never fully investigated after the district attorney offered Gypsy a plea deal. Law enforcement personnel who wished to remain anonymous believed, and still do, that Gypsy was never telling the entire truth and is still selling the public and parole board untruths, allegedly and in their humble opinions.
I wonder if they gave her the plea deal because it was like, okay, this is kind of like a very hairy situation and we don't want to be on the wrong side of it, where like, oh my gosh, how could you give this poor little girl life in prison? You know, I feel like they didn't want to get that pushback at the time, right? With hindsight being 2020, kind of being like, oh, we don't want to be I don't want to be the judge that everybody hates. So,
of course, our conclusion regarding Gypsy's medical history is that it's murky at best. Allegedly, many of the procedures were needed, and some of them were not, and constitute medical abuse by Deedee. We acknowledge Deedee was an abusive and a master con woman who was hell-bent on gaming the system and ultimately gamed entire communities. What she did to Gypsy was wrong, period. But did she need to die in such a heinous way?
That's already the without seeing any more of this, that's already what I felt was like, yes, that's not okay what she did. And should she have lost custody? Yes. Should she have lost any aid, government assistance, and all that? Yes. Should Deedee have faced some prison time? Possibly, right? For things like that, sure. But to be schmurdered, as Becca says, brutally like that, and just left to sit there alone is tough, right?
The question one law enforcement official close to the original investigation asked was,
is there an interrogation with Gypsy?
At what point did Gypsy move from victim to potential accomplice with her mother?
Mm-hmm.
2 things can be true at the same time, they pointed out. You can be a victim who then becomes a perpetrator.
True. The motive. I like the way
we discuss
I like Becca's voice. Very, very relaxing to listen to.
this motive for a crime, it's important to ascertain
The Gypsy's haircut that her mom was giving reminds me of 11 from Stranger Things. And I say that because that is, I think, coming back on the air soon after like taking a 4-year break to film. All the actors and actresses are like 20 years old now. Still supposed to be kids.
Gypsy's mind. Did she fear for her life? Was there no other way out? According to investigators close to the case, everything came to a head in 2011 after Gypsy meets a 30-something-year-old man named Dan Glidewell at a sci-fi convention. Witnesses reported Gypsy became obsessed with Dan. Glidewell gave sworn testimony in court about his relationship with Gypsy.
Feels a little weird.
Glidewell stated under oath that he kept in contact with Gypsy via video chat. He says that Gypsy...
How old was she at the time, though? 2011? I'm going to look this up. I feel like this is an easy Google search. How old was Gypsy Rose? Or also, hold on. Wait a second. My brain is working. I could just look up her birthday. 91. Oh, so she was 20. Okay. But remember, like, they lied about her, so maybe she thought she was, like, 16? I don't know.
Told him her mother made her stay in a wheelchair and had unnecessary medical treatment. Glidewell testified that their relationship developed from friendship to a sexual relationship. They would send
Becca does not want to lose ads.
explicit videos to each other. He testified about how they role-played occasionally. He referred to Gypsy as being shy and timid.
See, in this photo here, though, it's like, I guess she's 20, but she looks like she's 12. He looks like he has I don't know if, he looks old. I'll just say that, just from even the blurry photo here. He says she would send NUDE photos, dress up in costumes, and use various fictitious names. Glidewell says he was injured and that Gypsy visited him while he was in the hospital. She told him she wanted to go to Arkansas to restart her life.
Occasionally, he referred to Gypsy as being shy and timid. However, Dan also testified that he developed a taste of power exchange role-playing from Gypsy. That's
Okay.
right. This is a very important point. Dan testified that back in 2011, the year he met Gypsy, he developed a taste of power exchange role-playing from her. He says she would send nude photos, dress up in
Baby got back.
costumes, and use various fictitious names. Glidewell says he was injured and that Gypsy visited him while he was in the hospital.
So he's basically claiming that Gypsy was the one who was kind of almost taking things to another level and being manipulative. That's such a hard word for me. Manipulative. You know, say that 3 times fast. I can't even say it 1 time fast.
Not in her wheelchair. She told him
Oh, interesting.
she wanted to go to Arkansas to restart her life. As those in law enforcement pointed out, this sworn testimony contradicts Gypsy's narrative in many ways.
Yeah, because I guess the narrative was that she was this helpless, hopeless child. Once again, I'm pretty sure she was 20, though, at that time, 2011. But like this helpless, hopeless child that, you know, couldn't do anything. And then this guy's saying, no, she was doing a lot of things, you know. And then even in the Bailey Sarian video, it made it seem like that guy Nick was taking advantage of her and she was sending these photos. But maybe that's something that she just liked to do on her own, and it wasn't like she was forced. And if she was 20 years old, then, I mean, she was an adult. Nothing illegal about it. I will say, though, she looked really young. Even if she was 20 in that photo, it still looks young. So it's weird. That guy Dan's still a bit of a creep, too, to be honest.
She claimed it was Nick who led her into the BDSM world of role-playing,
That's exactly what I was told in that video.
when clearly Dan claimed under oath it was Gypsy who introduced him to this role-playing power exchange. Could Dan be lying? Sure, he's a convicted felon. However, he has zero motive to lie about this.
Right.
And in our opinion, and those we spoke to, Gypsy had a motive to paint Nick as the aggressor, where the role-playing turned into a very real-life crime.
That is a very bizarre photo right there. Not gonna lie. I remember her licking the steak knife and...
This was integral to her narrative. It was integral to her plea deal, and it was integral for her to get early parole. In fact, when Gypsy's lawyer set up an appointment...
So it seems like what Gypsy was really playing up this, I'm innocent, please feel bad for me. It was everybody taking advantage of me. And it's maybe seeming like with this kind of information, it's like, she was not as innocent. Like, did she go through the things with her mom? Yes, right. But also, was she as captive as she made it seem? It's starting to seem like no. And once again, if you think I'm wrong, let me know if I'm not getting this right. But you guys know how I like to do this. I like to build from the ground up, go from knowing nothing to somewhat of an expert on some things. I think it's been a pretty fun way to do the channel. I think it's kind of different. Some people, I'm sure, are like, oh, why can't... I've seen people say before, why can't he just look things up? Why can't he just get... That's the point of this channel for me. Real reactions to start from nothing and to learn. I think some of you enjoy the fact that it's different. I don't know. I think it's a different way to run a channel, but If you don't like it, I apologize. I know I could just Google everything. It's fun to watch it and learn on video. I just think it's more exciting.
With a psychologist ahead of her parole hearing, she claims something very different than Dan's sworn testimony under oath. Take a look at this.
Yeah, under oath, man. For a convicted felon to lie under oath, you're just asking to go back to jail, which I would guess he doesn't want to do.
The parole board often looks at these psychological reports to determine if a convict is ready for early release. According to the Missouri Law Review, while the process for conducting psychological evaluations varies state by state, it commonly includes an interview with the inmate by a trained psychologist. This psychologist includes in their report an opinion on a matter relevant to the parole decision. According to the report, the biggest factors for early release include the convict must be completely truthful about their crime. They must take full responsibility, and they must be sincerely remorseful. Dan Glidewell was ironically mentioned by both Gypsy and Nick while awaiting their police interviews right after being arrested. Many in law enforcement close to the case are alleging Dan remained one of Gypsy's biggest obsessions. In fact, Gypsy was caught on the interrogation video claiming she only knows 3 phone numbers by heart, and Dan was one of them. Nick also mentions Dan, saying, quote, "I'll apologize to everyone, but not Dan," end quote. Here are those videos.
Did it if it wasn't for us.
So this is Nick.
She knew it was the only way to be together. I'd apologize to everyone. Everyone except for Dan. Dan's the only one I would not apologize to.
Dan's the only one I would not apologize to.
Apparently she decided to just go with it. Like, screw it.
Is that some sort of jealousy thing from Nick, I would assume? Because he knew that she was obsessed with him and not Nick?
Me and I actually held together until... I learned that you didn't lie.
The problem is I can't remember her number. The oddest thing is I only know like 3 numbers offhand.
Now, I wonder if she does Gypsy Rose sound like this, or was she always putting on a voice to sound younger, or did her mom make her sound like that, or maybe she just has a high-pitched voice? You know, that's just a question I have.
Yes, I don't know as many as I should. That's for sure. Most of the numbers I know offhand are work numbers. Other than that, my mom. That's pretty much it.
The only numbers that I know offhand, my mom usually keeps all the numbers in her cell phone or on a piece of paper at home. And the only ones that I know are my mom's number, Nick's number that just got arrested.
That just got arrested?
And my friend Dan's number, but we're not on good speaking terms. So...
As Gypsy awaited her police...
The only number, I mean, even... I will never forget my house number from where I grew up. And my mom's cell phone number, may she rest in peace. I'll always remember that one. But to be frank, I don't know a lot of my friends' numbers off the memory because I'm just used to having it in my phone.
Interview or interrogation, she chatted up a young detective. Our sources revealed senior detectives assigned this, quote, good-looking cop to stand in the doorway, hoping Gypsy would open up and reveal herself. Gypsy wasted no time boasting and engaging the young officer, first making it clear she's a good girl, telling him she went to the hospital very embarrassed to be in handcuffs, but she had to go because she had a seizure disorder and needed meds. Later, before her interrogation begins, she boasts about her great times at theme parks, her VIP status, and exclusive packages. Oh, and all the food and sugar she consumed while on these wonderful trips with her mother. She sees herself as a righteous character who does the right thing, knowing full well that she had orchestrated her mother's demise. It's quite shocking how she can say those words out loud and mean it. Gypsy's overall demeanor here says it all and told detectives all they needed to know about how just unaffected she was about planning Deedee's demise.
Yeah, I was about to say, it is interesting. I would take it with a grain of salt because she did go through a lot of abuse with her mother. But it is interesting that there's not any sort of guilt, sadness. It doesn't look like she's very phased right here. And it really, Bailey's video from years and years ago made it seem like Nick was the one who, really orchestrated everything, where now it almost feels like Gypsy used her manipulation skills, maybe that she learned from her own mother, to maybe guilt him into doing it. It almost made it seem like she said, I want her gone, and Nick said, okay. I feel like it was probably a little bit more planned from her end than I would have imagined.
Meanwhile, at the same time, this is so sad. A few doors down, as Nick awaits his interrogation, he was having a nervous breakdown, worrying about his true love, the woman he just threw his life away for. Take a look at these clips.
Yeah, like he's actually crying here and showing emotion. And
I'll let her know that you want to make sure she's okay, right?
Yeah, let her know that, and also let her know that,
About you.
yeah, that's what I want to know, is if she's thinking about me, because I've been worried about it. I have no reason.
he said, I want to know that she's thinking about me. I've been worried about her. And once again, it makes it seem like she had him in the palm of her hands, and he basically did what he did in order to win her love. And he was jealous of Dan, right? Was that his name, Dan? Because she was obsessed with him. Am I getting this right? I think that's where it's seeming. Because she's kind of flirting with the cop and laughing and being calm and chill, and then he's over here having a mental breakdown.
Any danger or any threat or any harm,
Exactly.
it's okay.
It's that I was older.
I know. And after these guys talk to you and that, maybe you'll get to hold her again, okay?
Okay, I
Alright.
understand. And
Okay.
I do thank you, like I said. I
Need some Kleenex?
Well, you
I'll get
gave
you.
me a reason to.
Alright, yeah.
Sorry if the volume's jumping up loud here. It's just...
I can't do it.
Definitely seems like he's going through it here.
I don't want to miss her anymore. I want to be older.
We also learn that Gypsy's penchant for violence against her mother manifested in 2011.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard admits she was shocked after shooting her mother 10 times with a BB gun during 2011 runaway attempt. What in the world is this?
After Deedee thwarted Gypsy's plans to be with Dan, her 30-something-year-old paramour.
Wow, so she basically did with Nick what she did with Dan.
Gypsy admitted
Or tried to do.
picking up a GUN and pulling the trigger 10
Geez, I'm just saying these words. Am I getting not a lot of ads or something? Maybe, I don't know. I just feel weird spelling things and
times.
saying schmurder, although it's funny now.
Granted, it was a BBGUN, but Gypsy said she thought it was real. Deedee
Whoa.
was treated
Also, if you shoot at someone with a BB gun 10 times, that hurts, and you could blind somebody. That's
at a hospital, and the pair made up a story about being robbed at a Walmart parking lot. In our
what? That's insane. That's how come that? Wait, so they made up the fact that Gypsy basically tried to kill her mom, thought it was real, shot her 10 times, and then they just said, "Oh my God, that's crazy."
our opinion, this pivotal relationship with Dan appears to be the motivating factor that leads Gypsy to start planning her mother's demise. Remember, this is a full year before she meets Nicholas Godejohn.
Right.
Even Nick, who has an IQ of 82 and lives with autism, questioned Gypsy's relenting obsession with getting rid of her mom in a series.
Oh, so she was obsessed with wanting her mom to be killed.
Of Facebook messages.
I have to ask you something. How crazy do you think Gypsy is? You won't hurt my feelings or anything. I really want to know though, since I just obviously can tell she is. I just can't seem to put in words how
Why is there like an AI voice over this lady's voice? I'm confused.
crazy I think she is.
It's like, oh my God.
Oh, there you go.
Just seeing that
He
had
thinks
those
she's
thoughts of
crazy.
her.
Yeah.
And the friend replies, well, I don't know how to put it into words either, but I'll be honest, I would not ever unalive my mum or anyone else unless they try to unalive me first. So the
Right.
person's giving him advice saying, this isn't normal.
No.
It's a shame that Nick didn't take that advice. Things could have changed. He could have had a different story, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
But he went on the path he went on anyway.
No. Anyways, let's go to the next text message, Mars. So Nicholas responds and he says,
Yeah, I know. I suppose situations change people though, to where others are willing to do things that other people aren't. And
I'm guessing that lady's a little hard to understand.
obviously my mom, even though she
So this says, these messages were a year before Deedee was murdered. Yeah, I know. I suppose situations change people, though, to where others are willing to do things that other people aren't. And obviously, my mom, even though she has been hard on me overall, she has been a very good mother to me. So I could never do it to her. And the only reason I can understand it with her mom is because how unreasonably poor her mom treats her. But since it is a last resort thing, who knows? Maybe it won't even have to happen.
how unreasonably poor her mom treats her.
Nick is saying he couldn't kill his own mother because his mother has been good to him, unlike Deedee towards Gypsy.
But since it is a last resort thing, who knows? Maybe it won't ever have to happen.
It's starting to look like Gypsy's motivation to do away with her mother sprang out of this relationship with Dan. Dan's roommate wrote she, Gypsy, had fixated on Dan rather hard, and she considered him her
Oh my God, I thought his name was Dan Rather. Does anyone remember Dan Rather, the news anchor?
boyfriend, although that was not the case.
Oh, wow. So Dan did not consider Gypsy a girlfriend, but Gypsy considered Dan a boyfriend.
She thought he was her knight in shining armor.
Mm.
We had to ask, where is Gypsy's
Gypsy Rose, my mom performed voodoo on me with a cow's tongue.
anger coming from? When her mom
That's a crazy headline.
allegedly put a voodoo curse on her, seems to have pushed Gypsy over the edge. This alleged curse had to do with Gypsy's relationship with Dan. Deedee proclaiming that Gypsy would never find happiness with him or with any man.
Mm.
This along with Gypsy shooting her mom 10 times over.
That part is crazy. I'm happy that they're not just glossing over this. Becca's doing a great job. And I'm thankful for you guys for recommending this channel to me. And Tori for highlighting it. But like, the fact that she thought it was a real G-U-N and shot her 10 times, like she tried to do it herself. And then it almost seems like she was like, I didn't do it right, or I couldn't do it right. So she found someone that would. She used someone, you know, I didn't know Nicholas was autistic. Seems like maybe used someone on the spectrum to manipulate them. He seemed very upset about her, almost to get away with it, or so she didn't have to do it. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comments. I want to say again, keep it civil. Whether you're on this side or this side, it's okay. You know, it's just discussion. Everybody's been pretty good, but I'm just learning out loud, and this is how I'm processing it. This is how I'm seeing it, right? In real time. That's legitimately the point of this channel. I hope by now you know that.
For Dan shows the true amount of anger she was dealing with and probably never got over. Dan's roommate recalled Gypsy's anger, writing, quote, Gypsy and Deedee got into a rather heated argument of the kind one might expect between a mother and a teenager who feels that she, Deedee, was too controlling. Gypsy wasn't afraid to show her anger at all, end quote. Another neighbor said when he was alone with the mom and daughter that, quote, Gypsy showed a darker and secretive side, yelled at her mom at one point. It was totally an uncomfortable situation, so I pulled away. Later, Gypsy told me she would do anything to get away from her mom, that she was being smothered and just wanted to live a normal life. She was so sweet, kind of scary when mad, though.
So almost had two sides to her, you know. Obviously, I mean, duh, but like a side that she showed the media and the world, and then a side that she didn't show others to get rid of the facade.
End quote.
Like mother, like daughter.
Although we aren't doctors or psychologists, we have met our fair share of psychopaths during our careers, those who display signs and symptoms associated with antisocial personality disorder.
You're obviously going to keep telling me lies, so I'm not, sir. Okay.
I'm not, sir.
All right. Now you're going to be booked in for, later on down the line, you're going to be booked in for probably murder, okay? As long as, and with him as well, okay? All right?
I didn't murder my mom, sir.
Listen to me.
Sir,
Listen to me.
See, even that reaction almost seems like I didn't do it, it was him. He's the guy.
Did, because you're behind it. You pulled all the strings on it, and you're behind it. I'm not, listen, Gypsy, I'm not going to sit and argue with you about it, okay?
All I wanted was to come and get me.
No, that's not all you wanted. There's a lot more to this whole story.
She said, all I wanted was for him to come and get me, which we've learned is obviously a lie.
That you're leaving out. I'm not going to play the sympathetic game.
I think there's multiple parts to this. Obviously, if there's a part 1, so you guys know the drill. Let me know in the comments and by liking the video if you want to see me cover part 2, part 3, how many parts there are. I'm already enamored with this case. I'm already enamored with the Sarah Boone case. Obviously, I'm enamored with the Chris Watts case and Kenzie Shrilla. So I got a lot going on now. Please be patient, you know, and with me, because there's a lot now that I'm trying to balance.
I'm not like that, okay? I can see right through it.
Wow, look at this guy. He knew.
Able to be in jail. I have a lot of medical needs.
I understand that, and they'll get taken care of, okay? So
see, that's interesting. She said, I'm not able to be in jail. I have a lot of medical needs. It makes you wonder, did she play up those medical needs? Because at this point, knowing that she can walk and, you know, visited Dan in the hospital and all these things, it was normal and taking photos. Was she playing these up to game the system? Like maybe she enjoyed those free trips and the money and the food and all that, right? And probably thought, hey, if Nick does it, I'll get out. He can be the scapegoat. I'll be out. They're not going to do anything to me because I'm the little media darling that could never hurt a fly, right? That cop, though, did not believe her at all. Very interesting. He saw right through it. See, a lot of times I want to watch these damn interrogations, but they're like 4 hours. And I do these videos one take. I don't edit on purpose so that you get my real reaction. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I don't have a 5-hour reaction in me. That's so insane, you know? Might have to start doing them in parts as well. Maybe I'll do like 3 different parts of an interrogation if you guys are cool with that. What? I want a lawyer.
Please, sir. Sir.
It's almost like she's realizing, oh my God, I'm not going to get away with this.
I want a lawyer.
This is very interesting.
Please, I need a lawyer.
Okay, have a seat.
I think she truly thought he was going to say, look, we know you didn't do it. Nick's going to jail. We're going to release you tonight. Seems like she just thought that.
Maybe this crime had nothing to do with Deedee's alleged abuse of Gypsy, as Gypsy's defense lawyers masterfully sold everyone on, and more to do with Gypsy's anger at her mother for thwarting her romantic relationships.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard has an unusual dating history, meet her exes and husband Ryan Anderson, so I would assume that her and Ryan are still together. This was only about 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years ago.
If Gypsy truly didn't fear for her life and started acting out in violence toward her mom at age 19 when she met Dan, we decided...
Okay, so she was 19 when she met Dan. So she was an adult. Still weird, but
decided to take
legal.
a look at other similar cases where the anger and resentment at the parent over a boyfriend ended in tragedy.
It says, before ultimately convincing Nicholas Godejohn to kill her abusive mother, Gypsy Rose says she shot her with a BB gun. But, like, it does seem like when I watched Bailey's video, it made it seem that Nicholas was almost, like, excited to do it and was like, sure. And now looking at this and the things that Nick was saying, he seems like he was very apprehensive. Maybe with his learning disabilities, he was, like, confused on what to do and felt like it was the right thing, once again, to kind of get Gypsy's love and an eternal gratefulness from her for life, you know? Like, oh, if I do this for her, we'll be together forever, or she'll love me forever, and she'll get away from that damn Dan guy she's so obsessed with, right? I'm trying to think about maybe what Nicholas's process may have been.
A few recent cases in the media are Erin Caffey, Sierra Halseth, and Caitlin Coons, young women who murdered parents over their romantic relationships. Sadly, this type of matricide and patricide can be found. Young women doing away with parents over romantic relationships.
It's never worth it. What we believe.
We've seen Gypsy being able to leave home on several occasions to see Dan. We are not convinced she truly believed she had no way out. If Gypsy went to trial...
Right, knowing that now, it's like, I thought she was being held captive, basically. But now hearing like, oh, she was out and about walking, visiting Dan in the hospital, I'm like, wait a second. I'm confused.
And a full investigation would have been done. It's our opinion there's a very strong possibility she could have been sentenced to at least 30 years in prison.
Yeah.
Gypsy's sole role model was Deedee Blanchard. Gypsy displays signs of being a master manipulator with no real remorse. And when she's called out on it, she tries to parrot the right words.
And let me say this. Deedee also sucked, right? Like, let's not get that twisted. What Deedee did was also ridiculous and insane, and she should have been in jail for it too. But the murder part is where the line crosses for me.
I said some things that I feel confused a lot of people. One particular thing I said was on
She looks very different.
Podcast, and I said I didn't identify as the M word, which we all know what the M word is.
Wait, as the what word? Oh, M. I was like, what are we talking about here?
And what I meant...
She doesn't think she's a murderer.
By that was not that I wasn't... Not that I'm not branded the M word. I know that I am. But it's not like I'm going to go to a job interview and be like, hi, my name is Gypsy Blanchard. I'm an M word. You know, that's all I meant by it. I meant that.
And, you know, I don't want to have to remind people every single time that I'm not the one that committed the act of the kill. So, you know, I'm a part of it.
Right.
But in the state of Missouri, there's no such thing as accessory to murder. So technically...
This is very interesting. So suddenly, you know, she's very up on these things. And it seems like she definitely used Nick. I mean, Nick's in jail for life, right? His life is over.
They couldn't.
And she's on all these podcasts. This is crazy. Oh my God. How many videos am I going to have to watch about this, dude? Oh my God. I just had a like a vision, like I'm Raven Simone from That's So Raven. I feel like there's so many videos. This seems like a deep rabbit hole, man.
Charge me with accessory because that charge doesn't exist. So, I mean, had I been in another state, I would have been charged with accessory to commit murder. I don't associate myself as a murderer. If you think about it, yes, I had a part to play in it. I asked Nick for help, but he's the one that did the actual kill.
See, like that, I asked him for help. Well, that's definitely perfect phrasing by her there. Instead of saying, I asked Nick to do it. It's like if you hire a hitman to end somebody's life and you get caught because you did that, you will go to prison for it. Whether they even go through with it or not, because the intent is there. It's premeditated.
Not me. So when they say I'm a murderer, I don't identify as that.
To me, that's like you go up to a kid and you say, hey, kid, go in that Walmart, steal me some food. And they go in there and they don't know any better and they steal it. And then they're like, all right, well, you told this kid, he said you told him to do it. I'm like, I'm not the one that stole the food. It's like, right, but you caused this. Your action had a consequence. You would still get in trouble for it.
Everything Gypsy does.
Of course, Gypsy has a TikTok. I can imagine she has a lot of followers. Let's see. I'm curious. I'm going to guess 2 million. That might be too many. Let's see. Gypsy Rose. She has 9.3 million followers. Okay.
As here on out must be viewed as inauthentic and calculating. Can she change? Well, only with years and years of real honest therapy. But we know from mental health professionals, the prognosis is not great for anyone displaying this degree of no remorse and manipulative behaviors. Even after years in prison, when Gypsy can't get her way, she resorts to alleged narcissistic behavior. Immediately out of prison, she planned on meeting Taylor Swift, or rather,
the world,
hoping to manipulate events to run into her at a Kansas City Chiefs game. When she was told no by the parole office that she needed to leave Missouri and go to Louisiana, she believed she was being somehow singled out.
I'm like, why does my instructions have to be different than anyone else's? Because to me, I'm just another average bear.
Being a real average bear means you do what your parole officer says. No special treatment, no manipulative plans to try to run into Taylor Swift. But Gypsy's used to having special treatment, it seems. And when she doesn't get her way, we see the real Gypsy Rose. Gypsy Rose is addicted to drama and, in our humble opinion, has shown no real remorse, especially when
certainly doesn't seem like there's remorse
when it comes to her co-defendant Nicholas Godejohn, who is rotting away in prison for the rest of his life after he...
This video got me to feel bad for Nicholas, which I didn't expect at all. In the Bailey video, it made it seem like this dude was a monster, but I didn't know anything about him, his autism and this manipulation, and now it's like, geez, feels like this was calculated. She probably thought, "Ooh, I got somebody that I could," because Dan seemed like he had enough of a brain not to be able to do that. It wouldn't have worked on him, but on Nicholas it worked. This video has made me hate Gypsy Rose and feel bad for Nicholas, which was the absolute opposite. And it's like, do I feel bad for Deedee? It's like a gray area. It's like, I don't know if I feel bad. I don't want anyone to be, M-worded like that. She was a bad person. But still, this is insane.
Was taken for quite a ride by Gypsy Rose Blanchard. After Nick runs out all of his appeals, the only way he may ever see the light of day is through new evidence. Sadly, cases like this one just don't go before the Supreme Court. We started this investigation right after Gypsy was released from prison. And in those 3 months, we've seen Gypsy already repeating the past.
Oh, not you again.
It was obvious to many that Gypsy traded her obsession with Dan, Glidewell, to her fixation on a man named Ken Urker,
Who is this guy? Where's Ryan?
Developed a relationship while in prison.
Ah.
Much like Dan, Ken rebuffed Gypsy and called off their relationship. She immediately took up with Ryan Anderson on the rebound, who was her new Nick Godejohn. Their marriage was over after 3 months. It was clear.
Wait, what? They got divorced too?
Anderson was much more besotted with her than she was ever with him. Ryan was her new means to an end as she left prison. Anderson related on the prison confessions doc that Gypsy enjoyed making him jealous. It's all just a big game to her. And
this is a deep rabbit hole. This is this is a foxhole.
Sadly, she cares for neither of them, really. Everything is all about Gypsy Rose.
Is she with somebody else now?
The way Gypsy uses these men point to signs and symptoms of severe personality disorders. One, we've already mentioned, antisocial. The other is narcissistic personality disorder. 2 of the most dangerous, which are seen in many.
She's getting all those roses there. Did you know a rose, you get 1 cent? If you're a TikTok live person. So people be like, oh my God, I got 80 roses. And it's like a cent. I think you get half of it, right? So it's like a half a cent. It's like somebody tossing you a penny.
Lifelong criminals. Well, that does it for us.
Wow, what a ride this was. What a ride. What a ride. And I think there's going to be a very long ride with this. I have a lot of videos to watch because it feels like this is not going to end here. Shout out to BeccaScoops. Great video. And it looks like her channel covers basically all things Gypsy Rose. And I am hooked because my God. Well, once again, I don't even have to tell you to comment. I'm sure you will. Go right ahead. There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack. My God. Okay. Well, there's that. Like the video. If you're able to hype the video, because some videos you can, some you can't. Don't know why. It's not a thing I could change. Hype the video. As many comments as possible is appreciated, whether it's you commenting or responding to a comment. And of course, subscribe to the channel. Click subscribe if it isn't clicked, and then click the bell if you don't mind for me. Make sure it's set to show all so you see my videos. I upload 4 times a week. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. If you don't want to miss out on a video, do that. We're trying to get to 25,000 subscribers. But that is it for me here on Triple R Ryan's Raw Reactions. Please don't bother me while I'm watching true crime. Peace.